Good morning, everybody. Morning, everybody. This is Doug Pinner in studio. I got the Mr. Jordan sitting in for Mark Hoagland with Stanley Steamer. Morning, Marcel. How you doing?
Good morning. Excellent. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I was told Jordan's coming into the studio, and we have fans out front chanting, and here you are, Marcel. What a warm welcoming, huh?
Yeah, excellent. Outstanding.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate you sitting in for our friend Mark with Stanley Steamer. We're going to cover a little bit about what you guys are doing coming up on the holidays, how you can get your house clean. I hate cleaning my house. If there's one thing my wife and I fight about, it's cleaning the house. And you are going to dig in a little deeper on how you guys come in, tidy up the house, make things nice for Christmas and for all the guests coming in. But before we get to that, Tiger Woods, y'all, tied for 15th last week over in the Bahamas. Star-studded field last week. We touched on a little bit last Friday. Tiger ended up 4 under. Here's his round, 73-65. You ever shoot a 65, Marcel? Are you a golfer?
I am not.
You are not?
I can't get the baseball swing away. So,
Okay. All right. So Tiger shot 65 second round. He made the cut. He went 70 and then 76. He had a couple doubles, par fives coming in on that final round, which is unlike him. He and his caddy both said they both have a little bit of work to do to get cleaned up for some more events that he'll be back out on tour in about 2 weeks. I believe over starting the West Coast swing that Jimmy Walker's dominated so often, as well as Phil playing well out there. So keep an eye out for them. They're playing in the Templeton Shootout this week. It's two guys partnered up, play the best ball. Sitting at 16 under, Kelly and Stricker are leading the field with 15 under and second place with English and Kuchar. Now, Marcel, we were talking a little bit. You coached some basketball back in the day, huh?
That's correct.
Where'd you coach at?
Mark Bill's Middle School. Girls and boys. We reached second place in the city.
All right, man.
So, yeah, it was an excellent experience. 5th through 8th grade kids.
It's like herding stray cats out there, right?
Absolutely. But, obviously you coach them and they'll play hard, and treat them fair. Right?
Isn't it cool? Mark, hopefully you're listening in. A little call-out cam to Mark Hoagland. Hope you're in there. Send us over a text. Let us know you're alive. I know you were under a lot of stress last night. You guys are flooded just trying to get everyone taken care of for Christmas. But how cool is it? I know I coach baseball and basketball. And one thing I really enjoy, Marcel, is after going through the program, working with the kids, you get to see them develop and improve as an individual on and off the court. And then when you're out and about, still to the day, I got kids that come up, hey, Coach, how you doing? I think it's pretty cool.
Same here. That's definitely rewarding.
Yeah, so obviously if you guys got second you said in the conference? In the city.
Yeah.
So, you guys obviously had a winning record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what was your go-to play? Was it the picket fence? Was it high-low? What do you do?
Don't get caught watching the paint dry. No, at that age, sometimes we just put a lot of pressure on the ball.
Yeah.
And create a lot of chaos and turnovers. So
I love the sheer panic. My son plays on a travel basketball team, and when they inbound the ball with a full court press, these kids' eyes are bigger than saucers. Hey, speaking of basketball, how about Klay Thompson dropping 60 points in the NBA? That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Plus, he hadn't even scored 30 all year. But more than capable. He obviously holds the record for the most points in a quarter, I believe, at 37, I believe it was.
But right.
Yeah, 60, unbelievable. And I don't think he played the fourth quarter.
He did not. They actually pulled him with 2 minutes to go in the third, which I think, Steve Kerr's been under some criticism this week about doing that. I can't blame Steve Kerr. They were playing the Pacers on the road, I believe, actually at home.
Mm-hmm.
But Golden State was up about 35 when Kerr pulled them. You can't afford to have one of your stars out there up that much, right?
Correct. I'd have to agree with Kerr's decision.
Plus, you got a star-studded bench. How about our homegrown Sean Livingston, who he's putting up 17 minutes a game, 5 points, 2 assists. Those are solid numbers. Most players on the court are averaging about 30 to 35. So if you go in, double his numbers, 10 points, 4 assists, and a couple rebounds in a game, Sean's doing a great 6-man role. Don't you think?
I would have to agree, yes. They made him a priority to re-sign after last year, so he's definitely a big part of their group and their core.
I was a little shaky I may or may not have put a bet in Vegas that Golden State will end up with the best record this year. Probably more likely that I did than I didn't. But, you know, they came out first 4 games. They lost 2 of them. Now they're on a little bit of a roll. They got 4 in a row and starting to click, I think. You watch much of them?
Yeah, they're exciting to watch. Love watching them. They can definitely put up some points in a hurry.
You got KD, he's on the court. What a great addition. I think the guys are starting to figure out how to share the ball a little bit more. I know that was a big concern coming in. KD's leading everyone with 26.2 points a game, then Steph Curry at 25.9. And even with that 60-point performance, Klay Thompson's sitting at 22 points. When you got 3 starters putting up 20-plus points a game, how do you defend that? And speaking of how do you defend that, what about Russell Westbrook? I mean, OKC.
Lights out. Unstoppable, it appears at this point.
All right, so he's had 6 straight triple-doubles. They got a game tonight. I don't know against who, but I mean, 6 straight triple-doubles. Now, this is no surprise to the NBA and the coaches, so I wonder how they're going to slow Westbrook down, and can Westbrook sustain this type of longevity throughout the rest of the season? What's your thoughts, Marcel?
I think he's more than capable of putting up a triple-double for the entire season on an average. But if I were to have to defend him, I would double-team him. More so than not, you know, let someone else hurt me. But then again, if he's, you know, I think they're in first or second place in their division.
They
are. You know, I think I would double team him a little bit more often.
I'd put everybody on him. I would put all 5 starters on him, and well, we'd probably get blown out, but at least I would shut him down.
Right.
And now we were talking a little bit. You're a Cub fan, so I knew I liked you already, Mr. Jordan. The Cubs acquired left-handed pitcher Caleb Smith from the Brewers. They just paid straight cash for that guy. Left-handed pitcher Brian Densing on a 1-year deal. Now we picked up John Jay from the Cardinals to set up that center field, outfield position. He's got a lot of speed. And Dexter Fowler went to the Cardinals. What's your thought on that? I know we got some Cardinal fans optimistic about the upcoming season.
Well, I really like baseball, so I mean, I can appreciate a good player. And John Jay had some good years with the Cardinals, and I think you know, him taking the place of Fowler, we're not going to miss a beat. Good ball player.
Yeah, and you know, with the Cubs, it's all about getting that leadoff man on, drives pitch count up, because then you got Bryant, Rizzo, then we get Schwarber back in the lineup. I mean, these pitchers just coming into Chicago or on the road just got to be shaking their head at that lineup.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, John Jay's got a cannon of an arm. So,
Correct.
I mean, I don't dog the Cardinals like I used to. I think this was a great pickup. I think we got the better deal simply because we're not paying that money that Dexter Fowler's want.
Sure.
You know, he bet on himself coming back to the Cubs, surprising everybody, and it paid off.
Paid
off big time. Hey, Marcel, sitting in for my good buddy Mark Hoagland out there with Stanley Steamer. Let's talk a little bit about the holidays. I mean, hey, people, newsflash, December 9th, Christmas in 16 days. Are you done Christmas shopping, number one?
I am not. We have some work to do, so we'll get there.
I'm not sure the camera's doing justice about the sheer panic that is on Marcel's face here. So what can Stanley Steamer do? I just saw something on Facebook and some great reviews about how you guys can go in and really clean up the house and add a breath of fresh air, literally, to the home. So can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of times, you know, either, you know, between work and everything, you know, people just don't have the time to, you know, maintain. Whereas, you know, you call us, we can get it done within a few hours. You know, basically getting the house looking like new, have family coming in, have the home looking great. All the way from carpet, tile, you know, your furniture, wood cleaning, you know, all those type of services.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about the process. It sounds as simple as they give you a call, get on the books, you send a crew out. They can clean up the grout on your backsplash, in your kitchen, get them hardwood floors sanitized. How about the upholstery? You go in, that's what really seems, you know, when I'm doing some research, Mayo Clinic actually advises no carpet in a home. If they have people come up with severe allergen problems, the first thing they do is recommend they remove all carpet from the home because it capture so much dust and allergens and pet dander.
Mhm.
So when you guys go in with your deep cleaning, you hit up the carpets and couches, remove that. I mean, it's got to add cleaner air to the environment, right?
Absolutely. We're actually removing up to 94% of those dust and allergens. We're one of the first, actually, we are the first carpet cleaning company that was certified as asthma friendly.
I have
type of
asthma,
service.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I tell you what, if I go in a person's home and they have a pet, it really affects my respiratory,
Sure.
how I'm breathing. Um, so when you talk about getting into the couch and that, what does that entail? You got your own special machine for that?
Yeah, it's all truck mounted services. So, we're easily able to, attach for whatever services being provided. Um, with upholstery, it's a deep clean, and really will make a huge, huge difference. Being, in the business these days, I generally have all of my upholstery and things done every 6 months to a year. So.
And I think before you close up the house for the winter, because hey, winter's here. It is freezing outside.
Yes.
Next week we're going to shoot this live from Florida. You want Mark to fly you on down there?
Absolutely. Come
All right,
in.
Mark,
Yep.
you're in. Flying Marcel down. This is going so much better with my good friend Mr. Jordan. Mark comes in and just harasses me most of the time. But before you close up the house for the winter, it does make sense. Get rid of all those allergens and the pollutants in the air. Now, what about the chemicals you guys use? I know you guys are environmentally conscious of what you're doing. So one thing when reading about the Mayo Clinic, they said how harmful most cleaning agents are in the home. I mean, if you think about the kitchen counter, you toss a piece of bread down that absorbs some of those chemicals, or your kids are wiping their hands on it as they walk by because they touch everything.
Sure.
And then they're touching their eyes in that. Maybe you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
All of our products that we use are completely pet and human friendly, meaning, once we're done cleaning, everything's essentially being clean water rinsed, outside of like carpet and upholstery. But, your hard surfaces, tile, countertops, things like that, have a final rinse. And then everything's at about a temperature of 120 degrees or so.
That's unbelievable. I know you guys, Stanley Steamer went up and cleaned 3 rooms in my parents' home.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was up there for Thanksgiving, the carpet, the areas of carpet and the couches and everything literally looked brand new. And their furniture
Yes.
wasn't that old.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how much oil and, if you wear your shoes in from time to time,
Sure.
I mean, how you can really bring those allergens and dust and mud in to the room. So,
Yeah.
Marcel sitting in for Mark Hoagland with Stanley Steamer, our go-to professionals here on Daily Energy. Mike, I do appreciate. Mike killed the lights right before we went on. He said we look a lot better. So, Mike, how you doing over there this morning? Mike's busy on the switches. So we were talking a little bit about Christmas shopping, trying to get out, beat the hustle and bustle. I noticed a lot of people are doing some online shopping. So just go to StanleySteamer.com if you don't know what to get your loved one. If my wife and I argue, it's about how we're going to clean the house and get everything
Sure.
set. There's enough stress. Sounds like you got Christmas shopping still to do. So I assume you'll have a crew over to your house, get things cleaned up for the guests coming in.
Oh, absolutely.
So not only does Stanley Steamer, help with water removal and flooding, but go-to professional on getting that house cleaned up and ready for the holidays. Now let's switch back a little bit to the sports. We'll call out Cam to Nick Wachter out there. Nick, if you're listening, you're probably still in bed. Matty D is probably out in the garage entertaining Letty. But yeah, hey, our Cub Cardinals bet. I won a bet against my buddy Nick. Put the money back up on the line. Cubs will win another World Series before the end of 2020. What's your thoughts on that bet? I got a little carried away, I think.
I don't think so.
No?
No. I think we're in the driver's seat. Absolutely.
We're still in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
We have the trophy.
I think you made a safe bet.
All right. Well, I got dogged pretty hard on it. Let's talk a little bit about the Bulls. Bulls are playing a little bit above 500 ball. They're sitting 6th or 7th place in the conference. They've strung together a couple good games. The Bulls, I think, are sitting right where they want to be. They're in an ideal situation. Jordan, as you know, Mr. Jordan, they're selling out about 25,000 in attendance every night. and they're just straddling that fence. I do think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make it deep into playoffs, but they got some characters on the court. You got Dwayne Wade, and then how about Rajon Rondo? Rondo grabbed 10 boards last night. I'm still waiting for that head case to blow up on the court. What's your thoughts on him?
You caught a glimpse the other day. He was suspended for a game.
I didn't even hear this.
Yeah,
What?
I had an altercation with the assistant coach, threw a towel or something toward him, so they gave him a one-day cool-off. So, just a start, but hopefully he can keep his mind right and continue on to help the club. Because, if he's right, though, he's a good ball player.
I've seen him wrong more than right, it seems like.
Yeah, you just try to remember about the Boston years,
Yeah, I know.
At least when they were winning championships or contending. So.
This is true. Yeah, so the Bulls sitting 12-10. They beat the Spurs last night, 95-91. Thought that was a heck of a good game. I watched that a little bit. A lot of good ball movement, pressured the ball. The transition defense is really starting to pick up. As much as I dislike Rondo, he is back stopping the ball from getting deep into the lane. So the Bulls sitting 12-10. While we're talking a little bit about basketball, we got LeBron James and teammates made the headlines this past week about the bottle flipping on the court. Did you see any of this?
I did not.
All right, so they were blowing out the Knicks at New York. The Cavs are sitting 15-5. I think LeBron was on the bench most of the fourth quarter.
Sure.
Pans over, and these guys are doing the bottle flip. You know what I'm talking about? All the young kids are doing it nowadays.
No, I'm lost.
Drives me nuts. I wish I had a bottle around here. I come home, my son's just flipping bottles, trying to make them twirl and land. That's the object of this game. And these guys are doing that on the bench in the fourth quarter. And a few people chimed in and said how inappropriate that was. You wouldn't see Jordan or Bird doing those types of things. I also think it's a different era that the players are playing in.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it had to do a little bit with LeBron and Phil Jackson.
So there is a little bit of tension there.
Yes.
And you know what? I love Phil Jackson. I grew up, I don't know how old you are, Marcel. You look like you're 25. But I got to see the Bulls 95, 96, 97. So Phil was an icon. But I think Phil overstepped his bounds in criticizing LeBron. And good for LeBron holding his ground, telling Phil, hey, you can't talk to me that way.
Sure. I think it was a little blown out of proportion.
Well,
personally,
everyone on media needs something to talk about, like us right now. Fill that minute or two. So LeBron, the Cavs, 15-5. I think it's going to come down to them in Golden State again in the finals. And I tell you what, man, oh man, Cavs got like 7, 8 guys on that roster that are flat-out players. LeBron is the headline, but how about Lowry at point? Probably the best point guard in the league right now, isn't he?
Kyrie Irving?
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
what did I say?
Lowry. But
my bad. Call out Cam on myself. Won't happen again, people.
But yes, lights out. They're playing really well together. So I really don't see anyone in the East challenging them this year. I don't. So.
Marcel, have I told you how smooth this show's flowing with you on it? Matter of fact, Mark, you're out. Marcel's in. Mr. Jordan, when we go out now, are you going to sign any autographs and babies out there?
No, probably not.
We'll probably sneak you out the back door down the elevator chute and get you in your vehicle and roll on out. So Marcel is sitting in for my good buddy Mark with Stanley Steamer. So we were talking a little bit earlier about how you guys go into the home and deep clean. If you have a tip or two for some people coming into the holidays, pardon me, about getting things tidied up, what's the first step? Obviously, probably declutter, get rid of some of that junk in there.
That would be a good time to take care of those issues, because basically, you have to prepare for us in terms of, moving things off the floor, getting breakables, knickknacks out of the way. We do take care of the heavier furniture and things like that when we're cleaning carpet or wood.
Marcel, you look like you could just carry around a sofa under your arm and deep clean with the other.
But we always send 2 guys out, so that makes it a lot easier, for our guys to get in and do what they need to do. But it also helps when we're prepared, and set up.
So if you guys came in and did the carpets or the rugs, I know you guys came to my old home.
Mm-hmm.
Mark was kind enough to throw me on News 25. last minute. Thanks a lot, Mark. But you guys did a fantastic job. You guys had your fans, the humidifiers, our dehumidifiers. You put everything up on blocks, came in, moved things around just to ensure the humidity was at the right level so it's not creating mold and other things that are hidden, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about that process.
Well, unfortunately, I hear next week we're supposed to be in the minus 15, 20. So yes, if we have any pipes or anything on outer walls, you might want to look into insulating those, because if it gets that cold, unfortunately, things like that will happen. You have pipe bust and that. But yes, the process is to come in and get the customer or the client back in a pre-loss condition. And we're able to put it back from start to finish. In terms of whatever we have to remove, we can put it back together and get you back to where you need to be.
You guys did a phenomenal job. I had sofas and TV and a treadmill and just a bunch of cumbersome stuff. You guys got out of the way. You cleaned things up. Smelled nice. I mean, it was like brand new when you guys took off. So, again, Marcel Jordan sitting in for my buddy Mark with Stanley Steamer here in Peoria. If you are looking to get your home cleaned up and tidied for the guests coming for the holidays, give these guys a call. They can deep clean your grout, your carpets, your rugs, your couches. Get those allergens and dust out of the home before you lock up for the winter. And like Marcel said, yeah, we are coming in. It's going to get awfully cold. So what's a tip or two so people can avoid the pipes freezing? My dad always said leave the water trickle just a little bit to keep that constant flow.
A little bit, but a lot of times, like your outer spigots, you would want to turn those off, because they'll freeze easily. Come springtime, someone goes to water the lawn or what have you, find out it's busted, and then that's going to cause a flood in the basement. But yeah, if you could just insulate well, that would help out huge.
Takes care of a lot of problems before they ever pop up. All right, so Blackhawks on the ice. You follow much hockey?
I do not.
I follow it just when they're in the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. I mean, I don't understand everything about it, so it's hard for me to follow.
I'm with you.
Here's one thing I know: the Blackhawks are in first in the division, 17-8-3. They're playing pretty solid on the road. They, I believe, have a winning record on the road. Blues are just 2 back, so they're just lingering there, and then they're heads and shoulders above 3rd and 4th place. So the Blackhawks got a home game this weekend. Rivermen sitting 3rd in the conference. You been to a Rivermen game yet?
I have not.
Man, oh man. Probably one of the most fun evenings is Buddy and I each took our boys to the Rivermen game. Sat down by the glass. It's like $15 for a ticket. Mm-hmm. The boys are banging on the glass, and and we're sitting right next to the guest bench, and the guests were awfully cordial. They actually threw a puck or two up to the boys.
Oh, awesome.
But I mean, $30. I'm in out. We got to spend some time watching the Rivermen. They have some quality players on the ice. They're sitting in 3rd. They're 500 at home, 5-0 on the road. So I mean, they have a decent club to go watch. I know if you get the opportunity, get out of the house, get the family out. You walk around Carver Arena, get a little exercise, and then plop one down and watch some hockey. So Bradley Braves. I'm projecting them to finish right at 500 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Right now, they're sitting at 4-5. They went on a 2-game losing streak this past week against Nevada and Ball State, blown out. I mean, you get Bradley out of their element against some of these smaller schools, and boy, it's hard for them to run the full time with these other colleges.
Well, they're close to last year's numbers. I think they ended up with 5 or 6 victories last year.
Yep.
So we're making progress, I think.
Coach, he came in town, 2-3 years ago. I think he's been able to recruit some guys, some local players really looking at Bradley. So there's some quality players on the court. Need another big guy down low. I mean, I've watched a couple of these Bradley games. They tend to shoot that 3 ball in a hurry. Transition defense is awfully slow, leading to a bunch of points in the paint. It's easy for me to sit back and criticize. It's a harder thing when you're on the court coaching those boys, right?
Sure.
So
I'm surprised on how many international players they have actually playing for them. I think it's most in Division I. on one single team. So, you know, they're obviously reaching out, you know, around the globe, you know, to find these recruits. So I think they're making progress. So.
And, you know, I don't think the community expects Coach to turn that program around in a year. I mean, they were down in the basement in the Missouri Valley on the standings. Yeah. Like you mentioned, they're already almost at where they were last year for total wins. So I know I talked to a couple friends of mine that went to the last Bradley home game. They said there were 3,000-4,000 people in the stands. So it's a good showing. Also, I saw this morning when I was going over some of the Rivermen stats that Zobrist, he had to cancel his appearance a couple weeks ago. He's coming in January 20th, 21st, something like that. Check it out on Civic Center website. If you want to go down, take your young one, Cub fan. You have any children?
One little girl.
Little girl?
Yeah.
Well, how old?
Yeah, 4.
Congrats. So you got her decked out in the Cubs gear?
Oh, yes. The very next day, you know, after we won it, we had to go purchase some World Series gear. Absolutely.
Wasn't it crazy?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't find anything in Peoria unless you were Dick's actually had a great supply up there.
Sure.
I took the family up to the parade, and I mean, these people are peddling pennants on Michigan Avenue for $50.
I bet.
And they were selling.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't believe it. What's your daughter? Who's her favorite player on the Cubs?
It was Hector Rondon. She just liked the name of the, you know, sound of the name, but she didn't really have a favorite at that point because obviously he didn't really see much of the field.
Yeah, he didn't get into too much.
Once we obtained Chapman, so.
Yeah. So now Chapman is off to the Yankees. Yankees signed him for a big deal. I'm not a fan of the deal. I mean, Chapman relies on his fastball, and you give these MLB hitters enough time to see him a couple times. That's why I think he got hit a little bit in the World Series. It probably didn't do any favors by putting him out there for 40, 50 pitches. But, I don't know. A 5-year deal throwing 103 heat screams pressure on the elbow.
Sure. I'd agree. As long as they can keep him to a minimum as far as just ninth inning. I mean, like you said, we put him out there for a longer stretch than what he's used to. But we definitely got our money's worth.
Yeah, we got our money's worth. You could just see Mad say, "You're staying in. No one's up in the pin.
Yeah.
This is all you. I don't care if it takes 60 pitches or your arm to fall off."
Sure.
We don't have him next year, so he didn't care, and I think maybe that's why Yankees signed him in for a 5-year deal, assuring, you know, what they can do to ensure his longevity in the league. They'll do so. Sounds like a smart move for Chapman. Obviously, we'll see how it pans out. I don't think the Yankees are getting themselves set up to make a run for probably another 4 or 5 years. But as time goes, we'll see how that plays out. Marcel, Jordan, Mr. Jordan here with Stanley Steamer in house. We spoke a little bit today about having you guys come out and get that grout in the kitchen, in the living room, your entertaining areas. If you got guests coming in and you want that guest room cleaned up, give them a call down at Stanley Steamer. If you go to Daily Energy on Facebook, put a link up to their site. Real simple, navigate through, give them a ring. You guys get them on the books. I know you guys are extremely busy, so don't wait until the last minute like us guys do with Christmas shopping. Give them a call today. Get on their books sooner than later. What's one thing on your list you're looking for from the big guy, Santa, coming in?
From the big guy? Well, we had an unfortunate power surge at our home, so I had a TV go out. So I already had an early Christmas,
all right.
I'm back up. Absolutely, absolutely. I
went with family?
I did Black Friday for the first time. I won't do that again, but it was well worth it. I got a great TV for the price, so
awesome.
So I think I'm okay for now.
I think I have University of Duke basketball tickets. I think I'm going down there last part of January and February, maybe catch 2-3 games. I know they got North Carolina at North Carolina. I'd like to experience that. And then Duke's playing NC State at home, so might check that out.
That'd be great.
I understand the gym only holds about 3,000 people, so ought to be interesting. Almost as big as my high school gym. So that I never got on the court. Hey, Marcel, Jordan, sitting in for Mark Hoagland with Stanley Steamer. I'm Doug Pinner with Anytime Fitness North Peoria on Daily Energy. Mike's on the switches over there. Everyone have a great week. We'll see you next week. Have a good day.